Friends, this flower might as well be a rose. And if you've been here a while, you know that roses drive me up a wall. Painting watercolor roses and watercolor lilacs can be really stress inducing for me. So I imagine it is for some of you out there. So today we are going to paint the lilac. It smells amazing in here. And I'm going to teach you a way to paint the lilac so that you don't get upset, so you don't get frustrated quicker than maybe necessary. I'm going to teach you ways to paint the lilac that feel freeing, not heavy. All right. So let's get down to the painting table. But before we do have a special friend with us here today. And I would like to give a really excited shout out to my friend Rose. Rose is a lovely budding artist who adores Minecraft. Can we all say hi to Rose in the comment section? I met Rose when volunteering at my son's school, and it was kind of like a career day type of career week. I was there for 5 days, and I got to talk about what I do for a living. And yeah, so found out that Rose loves art, and I'm just really excited that she's here for her first live with her mom, Andrea. So hi, Rose. I hope you paint along with me. And if you're not going to paint along, you know what you can do? I tell everybody you can just rewatch this. You can watch it first live and then rewatch and paint along if you'd like to. All right. So let's get down to the painting table. We're going to have a good time. I promise. So I'm going to start by spraying down these two palettes, and then I want to open up these 31 purple fish paints that I have in and see what we've got. I remember kind of what I asked for, or I don't remember actually what I asked for. So oh, hello. So I need to kind of refresh my own memory. I'm going to be painting on Academy today, like always. I'm pretty predictable in that department. I got red paint all over me. Holy moly. Okay. All right, let's see what she sent me. Okay. Also want to remind everyone, if you do have a question while I'm painting, please go ahead and put a couple question marks ahead of your question so that I can see it easier. I don't know if we have our moderator Sketches here today. I didn't actually see her. So, you know, I might be just winging it here on my own. All right, we have Dusty Maroon. Well, we're definitely going to use that. We have, oh, Sketches is here. Hey, Sketches. Lunar Sap, probably a green. So these are all granulating, I believe. Coral 2.0. Oh, I was really excited about that one. Now, she had to send me some in tubes because they weren't cured up quite yet. Grape. Definitely. Wait, what? Grap? I don't think that's grape. I don't know. Grape? F? I don't know what that says on the back. Ooh, what's this? Blush plum. Ooh. So she sent me tubes and then some of the extra little pans. Let's see what we have here. Lunar Red. No, oh, I remember Lunar Red. I was so excited about Lunar Red. Cherry Haze. Let's fill these up. Let's go ahead and fill these up. I need a scrap piece of paper. They're not going to be cured, but that's okay. You can use uncured watercolor as long as you're a little more tender-handed. All right, let's I've never filled these type of pans before. Let's get Cherry Haze written on the back here first. So this is just a fun little preview for everyone for my upcoming granulation video. Cherry Haze. Nice, nice, nice. I'm just gonna put a little in and then I can fill it up once it's cured a little. Anyway, we have enough to play with for today. That is something to figure out another day. I don't want to mess with that because I just feel like it's about to explode in my face. Okay, lunar red. Lunar red. What's everybody working on this week? Anything fun? Any new projects? Any new paintings started? Any breakthroughs? I'd love to hear about any breakthroughs you're having. Would love to hear. All right, I'm just going to get a little bit of lunar red in there to start. Wow, she sent me a lot of paint. These are sizable. Okay. Put those up there. And then we have Just Peach. Oh, I'm excited about this one. I was really excited. Ooh, a realistic tiger, Jennifer. Oh, wow, that one just is dying to come out. And now I have to try to turn it upside down. Let's see. Get coffee stirring sticks for starting tubes. Oh, Dee, I love that. Thank you. Just Peach. I never actually had an issue like that, but you know, these are handmade. So who knows? I'm probably doing something wrong. But I love that. I was trying to use a brush, but I didn't have enough friction. All right, that's good enough. We don't need a lot in there, especially since I'm going to be dipping into them uncured. Oh, there's one more. Hold the phone. I'm sorry, is this boring? I mean, my hardcore watercolor peeps are like, this is awesome. Keep going. What is that called? Brass? Brass? Y'all, what does that say? What does that say? Brass something. Oh my Lord. She's got beautiful handwriting like me, the kind that you can't always read. And that is a compliment. Brass horn? I'm going to put a question mark on the bottom of this pan because I really don't know. If you're watching here and you're like, what in the world? Like, is this what we do with tube watercolors? And this is what we do with tube watercolors. I often, not often, I firmly recommend not working straight from the tube as a general rule, because as a beginner especially, you can pick up way too much paint. Way too much. It's too easy. So I have videos. I will try to link it below in the description section. There's a few videos about how to make your own pans like these or these from tube paint. And it's what I really recommend because you have a lot more control once these are cured. They're more stable and they're not going to allow you to pick up as much paint as quickly. So, yeah. All right. So this was cherry. So we're going to put that in the warm department. And this was lunar red, so warm. And then we'll just put this other little green baddie right here. Okay. And if you're wondering, is she really going to paint on dirty paper? You bet your butt I am, because please, it's me. It's me, friends. All right. I'm going to pull one of these out. We're going to just talk about this for a second. Okay. So lilacs are like hydrangeas. Hear me out. Just hear me out. In the sense that the look of them when seen from a distance is made up of a lot of tiny little flowers. Now these aren't even bloomed yet. I'm going to show you this one as well. Like these are waiting to pop. This one has popped. Okay. So hydrangeas can be very overwhelming for folks for that reason, because it's like, oh my gosh, do I paint the whole shape? Do I try to get every little bloom, every little, you know, little line? And you get frozen and lost and upset and frustrated and all the things, right? So I want you to see your forest here through your trees. I really want you to focus today on the forest. I hope I'm getting that colloquialism right. I tend to really mess up colloquialisms as much as I tend to mispronounce words. But I want you to see the big picture of this flower. Same goes with hydrangeas, and Same goes with roses. You've got to see the big picture first if you're going to feel satisfied in how you've captured the whole thing at the end when you're quote unquote finished. So let's get to it. I'm going to paint a couple of these. That's why I'm going big on this paper today. So let's just take a look at one way that I would do this. And I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and use my Dive Right In brush, friends, which is my number 6 filbert. So what I'm going to do with this first pass, I'm just going to grab, I actually want to get into this like lilac-y color here. And I'm using my filbert, which is going to give me nice soft edges. And I'm just going to paint the shape of what I'm seeing here that all these little flowers are making up. I'm going to paint that shape first. And I'm using just kind of a tapping, tap, tap, tap. I'm twisting my brush. See how I'm twisting it in between my fingers. I'm going to lift it up so I can actually see the shape a little better. I know you guys can see it better when it's laying down, but I can't. I know that there's some green popping through. I'm going to grab a little bit of that new green, that uncured green, and just tap, tap it in. I'm going to grab a little brighter green from Daniel Smith, tap it in. Yes, I'm a messy painter. If you're new here, welcome to my world. And I'm going to go ahead with that same brush. And because leaves for me, and I know for many of you, leaves are a comfort area, I'm going to go ahead and just indulge in a little leaf painting, a press, drag, and lift, a little twist there as well, and get those leaves in, because that is a comfort subject matter for me. Leaves make me feel confident in my skills, whereas some flowers do not. So I like to balance what makes me comfortable and makes me feel confident in a painting with painting what doesn't and what I know I have to try, so that I stay motivated and I want to keep going, right? So I press, drag, and lift. Paint is running out, so I go ahead and get a little more paint, a little more water, and dab in and edit that shape a little bit. And this gives me a really strong structure for this flower. Now, I want to let this dry. I want to say this, though. You may not agree with me. Let me know who agrees or disagrees. This could be a finished painting. I mean, maybe let's go ahead and dabby dab a few more. Like, actually, let me get the purple from the Art for Joy's Sake and a little bit of the pink from the Art for Joy's Sake palette, and like dab in a few stronger areas where I'm seeing them in my live flower. And this could be done. Agree or disagree? Head to comments and let me know. Could that be done? So we're going to go ahead and let that dry up. And I'm going to go ahead and switch brushes. I'm going to go to a catstone. If you don't have a catstone, use like a number 6 round with a nice point on it. All right. And I'm going to go ahead, similar approach, because I really like that purple color, but similar approach in that I'm going to look at the forest of the shape, but not quite as much. All right. Because I want to do this approach, I want to start right off the bat with little marks. All right. So I'm thinking about the whole shape based on where you see me placing my initial marks. You can see that I'm trying to establish that general shape, but I'm doing it not by a wash. I'm doing it by mark making. And this is just another approach, another technique, another way of coming to the paper with the paint. But it gives you a little bit of freedom if you don't feel like that day. I mean, maybe that day you just don't feel like being a washy watercolor person, okay? I was about to say gal, and I'm like, that could not be further from the truth. I love that we have everybody here, not just the ladies, all right? I'll tell you what, the men are really representing here on this channel, and I love it. So I'm making some dots, some dashes. They are all very kind of lazy marks. I'm not like agonizing over their placement. I am looking back and forth, back and forth. I see up here a little bit more. I see down here we have a little straggler, and I'm back and forth. Now I definitely want to get some of those greens in, right? I'm using a little bit of like a cobalt-ish turquoisey color. Y'all know I don't like to call out exact colors because that's just anxiety inducing. And I'm connecting some of these marks from that central stem that I'm adding in. Let me show you how I'm making that decision. Actually, I want to go closer. I want it on white. Okay. So the green is at the base of the pink little flowers, and it all emanates from the stem. So I'm kind of using that approach. You're not going to see green everywhere. You're going to see it in clusters, and make sure it kind of emanates in some way, originates, if you will, from that central stem. All right. Now I went a little more like bluish with my green, and in reality, it's a little more yellow. So I kind of feel like I want to get some of that back. I'm just mixing up a little something, something, but I'm probably not going to get that back very easily because I went pretty heavy. And then I'm just going to get my leaves in, right? Different brush, but you can get similar results. I notice I definitely have to use more strokes with this brush. If you're using a number 6 round, you probably are going to be able to do this in less strokes. So something to keep in mind. I always like to give you alternatives. I don't ever want to be that teacher that sits here and is like, you have got to use this supply and my supply and buy, blah, 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 blah. No. I mean, trust me. I show you guys enough stuff that makes you want to buy. I encourage enough buying. I want to add a little extra leafy something here. And then take your liberties, right? I actually don't like what I did here. I made the leaf really thick when it met the stem. So I kind of want to balance that with something a little skinnier there. It's all right. Kind of annoyed at myself for making that so thick. That's okay. That's better. Something that looks like it's kind of going into the back of the flower. I'm going to put a little darkness there to make it shoot back even more. There we go. So this is another approach, and then you can just build on top of this. The nice thing about this approach with the mark making is that you can build upon it pretty quickly, even when things aren't yet dry. And I actually am going to go in here, I think, with dots. I want to do some dot work. I think that would be super fun and pretty. And I'm going to try to cluster these dots because I'm making that decision based on the center of these open blooms. Can you see that? They almost look like dots. You see that? So instead of trying to make a bunch of these perfect little star-shaped blooms, let's just go ahead and add some dots. We're editing on nature. We're editing reality, right? We want it to be recognizable. Come on, let's face it. We want it to be recognizable, right? We all want that element of, oh, that's a beautiful lilac when somebody looks at it. We're not going to lie. We want that recognition, right? But we also, like, I don't know about you. Let me know, agree, or let me, just say yes if you agree. Like, you have just this innate desire, you're not even sure where it comes from, to express yourself. You want to see yourself. You want to see a non-genericness about what you put on paper, right? And so my hope here is that I'm giving you the tools to make that non-genericness, right? I don't think spatter would be too much at all. I'll do one down here with some spatter. I don't think it would be too much at all. To paint white lilacs? Nah, no. So here, I'm just going to do fast and loose, like, idea of the colors. Like, if you wanted to do white lilacs, you're going to go to the crevices of your palette. All right. Oh, let's just paint a white lilac for the love. Let's not make it difficult. I'm going to move to another paper, let that dry. This is Academy rough. So friends, this may flop. Just gonna give you fair warning because I was not coming here prepared to paint a white lilac. So let's get into it. I am going to kind of tug this palette over because, and this one too, because, hi, Messy Christy in the house. Because when I'm painting a white flower, y'all, I really like to utilize the palette grunge. All right. Like right up in here is a little like purpley pink something or other. And there's a little blue here. And I'm gonna get a lot of water into it. And then I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna try to go smaller here because I have a smaller paper. And I'm just gonna do a really iconic kind of shape. Hopefully you can see this. You want to use really watered down blues, pinks, whatever, but really watered down because in the end, we want this to feel white, right? And for me, I think I'm a little bit of a cheater pumpkin eater when it comes to painting white stuff because I like to use negative space and darker colors in that negative space, even a little bit of yellow. That's a little bright. Let's soften that up, but let's go ahead and try to establish that shape with some really soft watered down color. But it's like barely there, but you can see that, right? You can see that. Now you can really see it. You see kind of what I'm doing here? Really soft, really soft. I'm going to go ahead and get the beginnings of a stem in there just because I know that's going to make me feel good. This is the Art for Joy's Sake palette, just some palette grunge. It's some emerald green. There's even a little purple in there. And then like that, the fluorescent from my palette. And I'm going to go ahead and cat hair. Great. I'm going to go ahead and just get a little stem action in there. I felt like playing with the liner on that one. And I'm glad I did. Just notice one thing that makes stems feel more realistic is just kind of a crookedness to them. See, there's always just like a crookedness to them. And there's always these little notches, which are what I've learned as a plant mama are nodes. And it's from which the growth happens in very, very general terms. And so if you can get some of those notches or nodes in there, your stems are just going to feel that much more real, right? They are. They're just going to have that air about them, that realness. But I know I am a cheater because I use bleed proof white in a heartbeat. Me too, please. It may happen here. So all right. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, get those nodes into your stems. And again, I love to bring in a contrast very early into my white flowers because I'm using my 1/4 inch dagger, friends, because it helps so much. It helps establish your whites so much easier, right? Okay, now you're like, oh gosh, Chrissy, I get it. That's all cute and fine and dandy and all. Sorry, friends, the light today is changing like madness. You know what? While I'm waiting for this to dry up here, I want to take a little poll, and this is a technical poll about kind of the equipment. And I want to get a real read from my friends here who so many of you are here week in, week out. I am considering and I'm so resistant to it, but I am considering a better setup in terms of my equipment. Do you find the footage to not be, would you like to see better quality footage? Like, do you feel like I'm missing the mark on the quality of my footage compared to some other channels that you watch? Like a better camera is what I'm talking about, like a permanent setup, better camera. I definitely know my sound quality has a lot to be desired. So that is what I'm tackling first. I think I know what I'm buying and I should have it set up for next week. But I would love to hear if you feel like my channel compared to others you're watching is really lacking in like the the video quality. I would love to hear that. You know that I film almost exclusively in natural light, which most other channels do not. They do the opposite, you know. So let me know, and hopefully this is dry enough. I'm gonna put a little something down here, just like a little baby one coming out right there. Yeah. I want a little bit of this like periwinkle. I've got this gorgeous like periwinkle blue. I don't actually know what it's called from Daniel Smith. It's very periwinkly. All right. I see Anne-Marie says, I think the quality is good. I want to see what Sketches. Sketches says something here. Sketches says, in honesty, think the quality is great. Oh, okay. That's from a fellow YouTuber. No, I think your quality is great and comparable. Never had any thoughts about your channel needing better video. Okay. I mean, friends, I am using an iPhone 15 Pro, like the best one they have. And I got that. I've always, when I upgrade my phones, I always get the best and, you know, biggest storage because I do so much filming. So from what I've heard, the iPhone Pro Max, whatever, the one that I have, unless you're going to spend like $1,500 on an actual DSLR camera, you're not going to get any better quality. I've heard that. So that makes me think I might be all right. All right, so we're dry now. So we're going to go to a smaller. I'm going to go to a 000, y'all. And I'm going to get in here and I'm going to start just doing some scratchy marks in areas in a really light purple. I'm using that 31 purple fish. And I'm just going to start sculpting the shape that I laid down with that initial wash. Okay. That's a little too much, too dark. So I'm going to add some water to it and spread it out, spread it out, spread it out. But you can kind of see like I'm slowly building these little patches of shadow. And see, too much color, too much paint. So I get some water on there and even lift it out if I have to. Lift it away, tap it away. It's a little trick. You can, with a clean finger, of course. But just looking, seeing where I want to add these little shadowy moments. Basically, what I'm painting is where I'm painting kind of the recesses of the flower. The recesses, meaning like imagine if this were white. These areas, like look, see where this is like a darker pink? This is a darker pink. Darker, right? That's where I'm putting these little purple splotchy clusters. But they're so faint because we want to maintain that white vibe. So I feel like with painting white, especially if you're painting on a smaller scale, you do need to be a little more, get ready for it, patient. What was that 80s or that 90s song? All we need is just a little patience. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Starting to sing. Caffeine's kicking in, y'all. Starting to sing. I love me some like 80s, 90s, like hair. What do they call that? Hair rock, glam rock? I don't know. They all had a lot of hair. All right. I'm going to just continue on here. So yeah, we need patience because you got to build. You got to layer and you got to go. You've heard me talk about it before. You've got to make decisions, even in loose watercolor. You want to slow down a little bit. You want to slow down a little bit. And you know me, I like to paint fast. Now, if you were painting on a bigger piece of paper, you would have some more flexibility to work bigger or quicker, excuse me. All right, you would. Now I'm a little nervous. I want to get some of these green bits in here. I'm going to use my pink flower as a guide, right? Get some of the green in here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and then connect some of these clusters, put some green at the base of some of these clusters, and then take a look back. How's it feel? How's it feel? I don't know. I'm feeling okay. Get with it. Get with it. It's all right. All right. It's all right. But you can see, you can start to feel that whiteness come out. It's starting to show. Would the white flower been easier on toned paper? 100%, absolutely, yes. Yes. I was trying to go kind of like hardcore here. I was going, white flower neat, right? But we can do this. We can build it. We can build. I'm just going to keep adding those clusters. As I go, I can start to think about a little more defined. Maybe these turn into dots, a little more defined, a little more defined, a little more defined, right? But you've got to go slow here because you can, and if you're not taking breaks, all of a sudden you could be like, oh, that's too much. It's officially a purple lilac, right? Officially. Now, here's where it can really, what many artists on other channels would describe it as cheating. And I describe it as I'm having fun here and I'm going to do what makes me feel good. So shush, that's what I describe it as. Hello, hello. Uncured watercolor all over my finger. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cheat like we mean it. We're gonna cheat it good. And we're just gonna start, we're gonna put a background on this thing. All right. I have paint all over my fingers, so we're gonna be careful. You see where I'm going, huh? Cause why not, y'all? This takes skill too. If they think you're cheating because you're trying to avoid using a skill, you ask them to do an ombre wet on wet background on this size sheet of paper quickly. Go ahead, give it a go. It ain't easy, but we're going to do it because it's going to give us satisfaction. It's going to give us a white flower. And then when it's dry, we can get out. What am I going to get out, Thrifty? What am I going to get out? Once I've done this, what am I going to pull out to put over top of this background that I'm working in? Yeah. Use the big breath, makes you nervous. I know. And I love that periwinkle, so I wanted to get that in there. The beauty of the 3/4 inch dagger, though, it gives you so much control. So much control. More than you think you'd have. I'm bringing in periwinkle. I'm bringing in some of this, this grappe F or whatever from, yep. Bleed proof white. That's right. I'm going to be bringing in, actually, I might bring in acrylic. I don't know, or gouache, whatever's close to me here. All right. So right now, compositionally speaking, it's a disaster, but I know that, and I'm like totally fine with that. I'm just getting in this background so that I can continue on creating, got to get that edge up there, creating this sweet little white lilac. And this is also a great time to edit your shapes, edit your white. You can kind of cut in, if you will, like over here. You can kind of cut in to edit the shape a little bit, right? Now the stem, I'm not going to worry too much about the stem because I would probably bring in more robustness in the stem later on with another layer. I want the purple and I want the periwinkle here, right? And a little more of this blue. So fun. Yes. Watching a masterpiece in progress. Oh, you're sweet. Ooh, now that was straight from the pan, uncured paint. Look how much I got on there, but that is okay. You can use the tip of your brush to really get in, make some nooks and crannies, right? And you're gonna find those hyper realistic artists out there. This is wet on dry right now, just so y'all are aware. So I have some control, and I'm, in addition to getting more control, um, I'm getting more contrast. And they're getting into those nooks and crannies. This is the sweat spot. I just finished the sweat spot. I was sweating a little bit. And then I'm just gonna grab some water. It's not really clean, and I'm just gonna start spreading this out and meeting it up with down here. I'm not using anything terribly staining, so it's okay. I'm able to come back when things have started to dry and still kind of soften those edges and blend everything together. All right. I don't really want white spots, so I'm now going to go around and make sure I've got all my white spots taken care of. Just add a little water. I mean, if you're using a color that's more staining, and you're going to know, you probably already know your staining colors in your own palette, the ones that you put down and you just can't move them if they've started to dry. You might want to avoid those if you're just starting to play around with this type of background, right? So right now we're not going to stress about composition because our composition right now is pretty because it's like floating, right? But that's not the stage we're at. We're not worrying about our composition right yet. I'm getting some more of that green from 31 Purple Fish because I want to get more of it in here because it looked a little weird, like it stops abruptly here. So I'm going to carry some of it down here, but it is wet on wet now, so it's not going to be quite as contrasty, meaning my page is wet, my paper is damp. That's pretty though, right? Feeling pretty cool about that. That leaf is weird. I gotta fix that leaf. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, little girl. Anybody name that band? Show me what he's done to you. What's that band? I don't even. I'm the one who wants to be with you. I'm the one. I can't remember the name. I love that song. That was on, I saw that come up in like on a reel the other day, and it was like 80s or 90s flashback or something. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so old. Mr. Big, that's right. Love Mr. Big. Oh, but Sex and the City kind of ruined that name for me. All right. So this is one Teeter Teeter Pumpkin Eater way to paint a white lilac. Now I'm going to let this dry and probably come back to it because what I think would be really cool here is to bring in some gouache and work some more stuff into the background, but once it's dry, right? Actually, let's get a little bit in here while it's wet because that might make for some interesting effects. I just got some Holbein. What is this? This is just, it literally just says white. That's interesting. All right. But it's so straight up and down. It's almost like a portrait. It's almost like one of those like floral botanical portraits from the 90s, that would have the like teal green matte and like silver frame around it. It's like centered right on the page. So I'm gonna I want to try to like off center it a little bit. So we're just gonna get some. Now, technically, friends, by a lot of definitions for like, let's just say an art competition, many art competitions are like, for it to be called watercolor, has to be all water based. So this would still be considered watercolor because gouache is water based. So for those purists out there, don't fret. Don't fret. It's still water. But see how it's kind of damp on damp? So it's kind of blending, it's diffusing. Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm just tapping. I'm just tapping, y'all. My brush is like just above what I would call damp, a little bit more than damp. And my paper is about the same. Like my paper is really cool to the touch, but not wet. Like my hand, when I lift it off, I don't have any residue. I don't have any water on my hand. And then maybe well, up here. I'm dipping right in the tube. I'm known to do this. And then if it gets grubby, I just clean out the top of the tube. Seriously, like just seriously, it's all good. Don't be precious. I haven't said that in a while. Stop being precious with your supplies. Stop it. Life is too short to be too precious. All right. So I'm almost kind of like thinking like a stem here is going to happen maybe. And then, you know what? This is too much. This is too empty. We're going to go big. We're going to go Mr. Big or go home. We're going to shoot something right across. Big one. A big one. Big. Huge. What's that from? Pretty Woman. I am a pop culture junkie. If you're new here, hi. My name's Christy Rice. I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. I watch a lot of TV. I love pop culture. So I'm constantly referencing it. All right. Ooh, create a little depth there. All right. A little out of proportion, but it's okay. Now we're gonna just hands off. I always make a point to be really aware of when my brain is getting mushy in regards to the painting I'm working on, meaning I don't know where to go from here. That's a good place to stop. That is typically an excellent place to stop. Give your eye and brain a rest on this painting. All right, and that's what we're gonna do. How are we feeling? Everybody feel like this was beneficial? This was not planned. Everybody feel like this was beneficial? It is diffused and dreamy. I do like the diffused and dreamy. I would highly recommend getting yourself white gouache and literally just playing around with like making a watercolor, a dark watercolor background, letting it dry for like a minute, depending on your climate. So it's just damp, and then tapping in white gouache and just have yourself a good old time because it's fun. It's fun. All right, let's grab these pink baddies down here and let's talk about maybe a third technique. So I'm going to grab my the new cat's tongue I'm working on. This is a prototype. It's got a longer body and it comes to a finer point. And I'm going to go ahead and evolve this one a little bit. I think that would be fun. Go into the Art for Joy's Sake palette, just grabbing some of this, whatever it is. I want to see about getting some of these blooms in here. See how I feel about it. I'm almost thinking like little sketchy versions of them. See what I'm doing there? And just doing them in maybe the white space. Really loosey-goosey. And then adding some more. It's almost like the little tubular type areas meet up and they eventually bloom, right? So I'm trying to put some of those tubular type areas in. Tubular. I know I'm surely a scientific name for them and I don't know what it is. And then the ones that haven't bloomed, they can kind of have this little teardrop on the ends, right? Just a little teardrop and then just a little grouping of lines, really. And you just want to make sure those lines kind of meet at a point. That is such an important detail in so many aspects of painting. Things need to converge at a point. I talk about it so much. You know, when you're painting fillers, you want fillers that, you know, if you're painting like filler greenery and you're doing stuff like this, you want to think, okay, where is it going to converge, right? Versus the alternative, you do something like this and it just doesn't look as refined. It doesn't look as natural because they're not fully converging somewhere. So the same thing. So what I'm doing here with these flower bits, this is a great one to look at right here. Right here. See, they're all kind of coming from one point, skinnier at the bottom. Little, some of them are like full-blown like little dots at the top based on how aged they are. And then some of them are bloomed, right? And then, you know, green comes out from the base of them. But it all converges back to a point. See that? So yeah, I'm just adding a little bit of that. It's definitely overscaled, right? It's just like it's these could have been smaller, but I like them bigger. I think they're a little fun. And then you don't have to be as detailed with some of them. You could just do little bits like that, and then just like little press and lifts depending on how much pressure. You know, some of them will look more like little dots. If you do more pressure, they're going to look more like dashes. Just remember, I want you to remember, again, we're talking forest here, not trees. I want you to look at, let me actually put this. I want you to remember everything. You've got your overall shape, right? So we painted that here. But then you've got these little clusters. I'm actually going to tear one off because I really want you to see it for what it is. All right. Then you've got the individual cluster that is like a little bouquet. Everything emanates from this point here, out, 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 like a fan, right? Then, if you look closely, everything in total, all these little clusters fan out, out, out from the center stem. So I hope giving you just really hyper focusing on that kind of structuralness that's happening helps you feel a little more focused and not as like scattered about painting these type of flowers that have all the little bits to them that make up the whole. Let me know. Type helpful or yes if you found that little moment. Was that an aha moment for you? I'd love to know. Love to know. I'm going to just add a few more. And then I might just grab something a little darker, yeah, and just look. So all of my strokes are kind of curving, if you'll notice, towards that center. They're kind of arching and curving, unless it's a dot, right? Let's be honest. But you know, everything else is kind of arching towards that center point, that center point. All right. All right, let's just have a little fun. Let's just get in here. Give yourself these kind of breaks where you just go in and paint some leaves. Maybe we're gonna paint some veins on the leaves because we all know how much fun that is. Do they have to be like lilac leaves? No. I'm almost holding this brush perpendicular to the page, really low, really low. Notice where I'm holding that. I get myself lots of control. I always say try my hand holds, see how they feel for you. My hand holds on the brush may not feel comfortable for you, but they're worth a try because who knows? My hand holds might give you an aha moment. They also might give you frustration and you might realize very quickly it doesn't work for you, but it's worth a try. I'm adding a little bit of darkness there. I'm going to edit the shape of that, the tip of that leaf out there. I want it really thin and crispy. And yeah, and then let's take a look at the base. I definitely think some darkness at the base could be beneficial. I'm going to go in here and tap a few lines. So this is a case for kind of working slowly. And I'm going to stop and I'm going to pull back and I'm going to kind of sit back in my chair. Might even want to hold it up at this point and be like, do I like that? I think I do. I almost want to make it a little shadowy. So I'm going to add a little water to my brush, not really rinsing my brush, but making it a little more shadowy. All right. And then I'm just going to grab some like medium green and make it a little more obvious with a few dashy type marks coming from those darker marks I just made to make it a little more obvious where the flower, the bushiness of the flower connects with the stem. And that's feeling really good to me. That's feeling really good to me. So let's go back. Let me see if my white baddie here is dry. Ish, dry enough. I think she's definitely dry enough. All right. And let's see what we can do here. What do I want to do here? Not sure. It's funny. I'm not sure. So sometimes when I'm not sure, I just have to dive in. So I almost want to add, I'm using the green that I used here in the background to kind of reverse engineer the white lilac, or a hint of it. It may not work. Some stem action. To go a little darker even. Same hold on that brush really far down because I want that control. Going a little more like abstract almost right now. Just to, I'm testing the waters. You can kind of see like I'm painting very like lightly. Want some leafy bits in here for sure. Seeing how I feel about that. It's definitely interesting. There's a lot going on here. I think what I want to do is add. I like that, but I want to get in here and add some of this like pinky plum a little bit. I want a really clean brush. I'm going into this art for joy's sake. A little bit more water. A little bit of that. A little too much. Spread it out. And then, yeah, because I wanted to tie in, just soften this a little bit so it's not so like in your face. But then the other thing I can do, because I want to bring up the white in some of these. I want to punch it up a little bit. So I'm going to acrylic. Oh, yeah. So I'm making these like starred, these like 5-point little baby flowers with white acrylic and quite a bit on my brush, almost like I have a bead of it on the tip of my brush. See that? All right. And these are definitely oversized, relatively speaking. And then some of these could just be like 3 little dots next to each other, almost like a side view. I like this. Let it go into some of those blue flowers or blue leaves that I just laid down. Oh, yeah. Oh, for the love. Yeah. And when you are happy with something, what do I say? Congratulate yourself, like I just did. It's not ego. It's life. It's getting through. It's surviving in this journey of watercolor, because art making is hard. It reaches into the depths of your soul and it like gives you the most inexplicable joy possible, but it also can wreak havoc on your brain, and it can mess with you, and you can, so when you do something that you love, talk about it, shout it out, be like, oh, that's nice. Yes. Don't be bashful. No one's there. And if they are and they don't like it, tell them to get out of the room. All right. If they don't like you talking to yourself, tell them to go somewhere else. I love you, but bye-bye. I'm going to be talking to myself because it's important. It's important because there's plenty of negative self-talk that is going to be happening in your brain. There's plenty of the negative junk that's going to come out of your mouth. It's going to seep out of your brain matter, and it's going to get into your psyche. So we want to combat that with the good stuff, with the happy stuff. I'm going to repeat that. We want to combat that with the good stuff and the happy stuff and the joyful stuff, right? Looks 3D almost. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Second layer is amazing. Thank you for Virginia. I don't know what I'm saying. You're allowed to compliment yourself. That's right. Question. I'm sure most know, but what is the point of neutral tint? I just got some. I mean, I think the point is that that you could just you could just make something, you could dampen the color of something, like desaturate it, right, without using black. Friends, let me know if that's your understanding of it. But there's so many other ways to do that. Like I could dampen a green with a little bit of pink. So I don't do a lot with neutral tint. Because I like a little more non-realistic, like colorful approach to things. Now, just be careful if you are bringing in the acrylic, friends, just be careful to not contaminate your watercolor palette. Rinse really well. No contamination. Now, what do we want to do with her? She kind of got weird. It's all right. I'm just going to edit her shape a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because it's getting a little cray. But I think it's a really fun, this is a really fun exercise. This is by far my favorite right here. This little lovey-do. There's so many different ways I could go with this. I actually want to do a little more intensity in these leaves, a little to kind of downplay the contrast. Yeah, that's pretty. I actually really like that. I'm gonna just lift it a little and blot and lift. There we go. Just lower the contrast there. I really want that white to pop. I mean, we're having no problem with that white popping. But I'm gonna go back to my 000. I'm gonna go back into like the dingy, plummy areas of my palette, and we're just gonna get a little bit more, some more clusters. Even some of these like lines emanating from the stem, maybe even a little more green, but I'm gonna go a little brighter with the green, just a smidgy, because we want to get that central kind of greenness that we see here. Yeah, there we have it. But I can't wait to hear or see how you're doing with painting lilacs. Um, give them a try. It's worth the try. You don't have to start with white because that's stress inducing. But let me get the other one up here. Let's have a looky-loo at what we've done today. And I'm going to continue on this white one, and I will share on Instagram kind of how it's going. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Christy the Painter, Kristy the Painter. You can find me. Yeah, I do. I really love the all white. I do. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kathy. Um, Heather says thank you for. Oh, I reply. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I try to reply to all the comments. I've been running ads. I try to run really like authentic, like ads that really speak to my brand and speak to the heart of my brand. I hate even running ads, but like as a business person, I should run ads because I've got a great product. And so I make it a point to like really get conversational in the comment section on the Facebook ads. So because yeah, that's a great there's some great conversations happening in the comment section of my ads, for goodness sake. So thank you. Friends, this was an absolute blast. If you have any questions, the best place actually to get me to respond quickly is not via email. It's just in DMs on Instagram. So Christy the Painter, find me in DMs. I am much quicker to respond there than I am to email because I am not in my inbox every day. Kristen is. So yeah. Thank you, Thrifty. Thank you, Sketches, our amazing moderators. I see a question. Kay says, you're granulating watercolors from Japan at the moment. Apparently, according from Holbein, are only available from Japan at the moment, apparently, according to another art teacher on YouTube. Yeah, that's what I figured. I was just kind of hoping, like, if I was willing to pay the shipping, I was hoping that I could get them here. But I'm wondering if they're not even like something in the formulation. They haven't gotten permission yet to send them to the US. I don't know. because I tried places where I've had stuff shipped before and they were like, no, when I put in my address, I was not allowed. All right, friends, have a fantastic day. And go get yourself some happy painting. Just get some paper on the page, make some marks, even if you just lay down a dark, moody watercolor background and splash some acrylic or gouache into it when it's wet, you're going to have yourself a blast. So go get it, and I will see you next week. Bye.